Hello everyone. I'm going to attempt to make a little video so you guys can see what's going on here. This is the general layout we have. These rooms here, this is the women's room, and then up front there are going to be the production office and one more bathroom. You got the women's room and men's room. These are both 6 feet wide, each interior size from wall to wall for those two rooms. And then you got rooms 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 total. Now these other rooms are going to be 54 inches wide, which is 4.5 feet inside dimension from wall to wall. And then from the front to the back, it should be really close to 8 feet from interior wall to interior wall, minus the door that we have to put in. This big opening here is the opening I have to cut on the exterior wall, and I have to cut those beams out. And that's where our big roll-up door and our 2 entrance doors are going to be going for each prospective pair of rooms, which this one is numbers 5 and number 6. Since I have to cut out that wall on the upper line, there's going to be a LVL, 11 7/8 LVL. That's going to run 9 feet across, and it's going to be there's going to be welded studs onto the beams that are going to go through the LVL and connect the LVL to the exterior wall for our support because of the removal of the walls. Now this framework here with all the big X's on it, those are going to be how high I need to raise the floor, and there's reasons why. I'll step back and show you later on that. But if you look closely, the X that's on the floor, that's where our tire and axle sit. So I can't run any plumbing underneath the truck from that point forward. So what we're going to do, and my plan is I'm going to use something called a macerator pump. And what that does is it takes all the solids and liquids and toilet paper and grinds it up into a fine slurry, and then it's pumped through a 1-inch pipe to our holding tanks. And I'm going to put that macerating pump with a 6-gallon tank underneath the seat cushions in between rooms 6 and 7. I'll show you on the drawing, and you'll be able to understand that underneath there we'll be able to fully service that whole operation just by lifting up the cushions. The macerator pump will be right there. It's just going to be a number of screws that you take off, and if anything ever does have to be done to it, we should be able to do it with general ease. Now if you see the red marking line that's on the floor of the trailer, that represents the metal beams that is actual construction of the trailer that I can't in any way do any kind of drilling through or cutting because it's going to jeopardize the strength of our trailer. So that was the other reason that this whole thing had to be lifted up, is to accommodate our plumbing. This is a 3-inch toilet connector, and if you look on the floor, you'll see that that center line is our toilet marking, and this is how our toilet's going to sit on the floor. And if you see right here that this mark represents the middle of our beam underneath the floor, so you can see that I can't drill through that. And what we're going to do is put these 45-degree fittings in, and we'll be able to move these back and forth to get out of the way of our metal beams. And that height of that whole operation is roughly 8 inches. So with our 7 1/4 inch rise on our floor and our 3/4 inch plywood, we have 8 inches, a little better than 8 inches. So that should accommodate our floor without having, I don't think I can't actually do it any lower than that, because there's just no way to get around this metal beam in the floor. This is the rear view from the back of the trailer, and this is what all the floor joists look like on the floor. Now if you look here, you'll see this pipe. This is a 4-inch diameter heat duct pipe that I'm going to use for our heaters. It's going to go underneath all these beams, and it's going to be ducted through the floor into the rooms, and it's all going to be wrapped in insulation. And now we're back to the outside of the vehicle, and this will explain why I need to raise the floor up. Right here, this is our stairway, and this mark to right here is roughly a little under 4 feet. So if you look at how the floor right now is above the side of that aluminum panel on the bottom, that is just under 4 feet, and the stairway that I have built to get into the vehicle is 39 inches tall. And since we need to raise that up for our plumbing inside, I kept it as low as I possibly could to make sure we wouldn't have to be climbing Mount Everest to get in this thing. As far as our walls go, we're going to be mounting a 2x material directly to these beams, just like so. And it's going to be bolted with a 5/16 self-threading bolt, and it's going to have construction adhesive on both areas, so when this is mounted to the wall, it's going to be our full structure support, because once we start cutting this wall out for all these doors and stuff, we need to structure this to keep it strong. It's actually probably going to be stronger than the trailer ever was, because from wall to wall we're going to have 2x4 walls that all the plumbing and electrical are going to run through, and that's going to tie both sides together and keep it from rocking from lack of support after cutting out.